Carrie Guerin Scoggins Political Newsletter, Bible Prophecy Times Edition Update. As of this February of 2014, the Southern Poverty Law Center has issued a new list of, quote, hate groups, of which they have illegally included the American Family Association and Christian groups, wrongfully labeling them a hate group, violating their Christian civil rights, and their legal right to, quote, adhere to core values, which includes Romans chapter 1, by illegally identifying them as an anti-LGBT group. The Federal Supreme Court upheld the Christians' legal right to adhere to, quote, core values. The Christians are a protected class under religion, which would cause the Southern Poverty Law Center to be identified as anti-Christian, practicing religious intolerance and anti-Christian discrimination by violating the civil liberties of the Christian churches and their groups, such as the American Family Association, going against their legal right to adhere to core values such as Romans chapter 1, calling homosexuality of a reprobate mind, and other biblical scriptures that do not condone the homosexual lifestyle. The Southern Poverty Law Center is practicing an illegal act called coercion against a protected class. The protected class status under religion that Christians have is being violated. The Southern Poverty Law Center is attempting to coerce the mass population and government offices into harassing and trying to criminalize the Christian religious faith and violating the Christians' protected class status under religion. This act of coercion is illegal. Any government entity that goes along with their plan and violates Christian civil rights have opened themselves up to civil rights lawsuits. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 protects the Christian civil rights, as well as recent federal Supreme Court hearings supporting their civil rights, such as the legal right to adhere to core values, that of Romans chapter 1, and remembering that the federal Supreme Court did not find a freedom from religion. There is no freedom from religion. Christians have the legal right to proselytize their faith, go and spread the gospel from an uncensored Bible. The hate speech laws were overturned in the federal Supreme Court, supporting their legal rights to, quote, debate the issue. That included scriptures such as those describing homosexuality as sin and of a reprobate mind, that of Romans chapter 1 and other Bible scriptures that do not condone homosexuality. The Southern Poverty Law Center has no legal bounds, illegally calling a Christian group a hate group. They are discriminating and doing so publicly. Any government office, entity, or law enforcement agency that follows suit will be violating Christian civil rights and should expect to be under a lawsuit. The Christians are standing up for their Christian civil rights and taking these issues to the courts. America saw the anti-Christian hate coming from the Democratic Party and big liberals like Pelosi and Obama, when in their hate speech laws, they wrote in a clause attempting to bring in Bible censorship of Romans chapter 1, hoping to have it referred to as hate speech and illegally criminalizing it, which would have violated separation of church and state. Fortunately, the federal Supreme Court overturned this unconstitutional legislation by the Democrats, stopping Bible censorship and stopping the censorship of Romans chapter 1, again, scriptures that do not condone the homosexual lifestyle. We do not preach from a censored Bible. Our government cannot tell us that we have state-approved sermons. We have the legal right to proselytize our faith without fear and repercussions of being criminalized or having the state come in and harass us over our religious beliefs. Again, the 1964 Civil Rights Act protected the Christians from being discriminated against from private groups, government, or on the job. They are a protected class under religion. The Southern Poverty Law Center would like nothing more than to have every group out there and government entity discriminating against the Christians, illegally referring to them as a hate group, and hoping to criminalize their tenets of Christian religious faith, that of the King James Bible. The Southern Poverty Law Center only wants freedom for those that they support their belief systems. In the United States, it's freedom straight across the board. That's freedom for Christians too. Remember the adage, you are not a libertarian until you support the legal rights of those that you despise. The Southern Poverty Law Center wants Marxism, a border bureau to decide what can and cannot be said, working for the, quote, collective good, with censorship. Karl Marx was not our founding father, Thomas Jefferson was, and he wanted us to have the rights of the individual as opposed to working for a collective good. He said when we support the collective good, personal individual rights, such as that of freedom of religious choice, and that to believe in Romans chapter 1, could be infringed upon. It's the right of the individual that we work for in the United States. We do not work for a collective good. We do not have a border bureau deciding what we can and cannot say and what religious tenets we can or cannot teach. We do not have a state-approved Bible nor state-approved sermons. Fortunately, the Southern Poverty Law Center does not make the laws of the land in the United States. This is another Christian civil rights moment by Carrie Guerin Scoggins. This has been another edition of Carrie Guerin Scoggins' Political Newsletter, Bible Prophecy Times Edition Update. Look for more information, Carrie Guerin Scoggins' Political Newsletter and Carrie Guerin Scoggins' Political Newsletter, Bible Prophecy Times Edition, Facebook pages and bloggers.